Jiaodu took Lian to leave. Lian saw Shu, and the softness in her heart was defeated. She cried and threw herself into Shu's arms, wanting to break the marriage with suspended animation. Feigned death is the next policy. Shu disagrees with Lian's method, and he also believes that there must be other ways to save Lian. Seeing Shu's attitude, Lian couldn't help but feel suspicious. She would not care whether she married Shu on the grassland or not. Shu frankly told Lian that he always regarded Lian as his own sister. Lian was very sad when she learned of Shu's thoughts. She asked Shu to leave first. When Shu went out, she met Jiaodu. Jiaodu had a big fight with Shu because of Shu's attitude. Lian was very upset, simply drove the two away together. At night, Jiaodu came to put on a cloak for Lian. He knew that Lian did not want to be married. Lian liked Shu. He wanted to tie Shu and let Shu take Lian away. He was willing. Raise money and prepare horses for the two, and bear everything for them. Lian is no longer the little girl she used to be. She knows that she is the Princess Yong'an, so she plans to stay here. She is not willing to be married, but she will fight for herself through her own efforts. She only hopes that Jiao can stand behind her and be her strongest backing. Ashley Falcon came to see Yikeng and wanted to know why Yikeng came to Qian and why it was Yikeng's turn to take charge of the internal affairs of Ashley's ministry. Yi Cheng repeatedly claimed that she was sent by the Great Khan when she came to Qian. As long as Ashley Falcon was willing to take the eagles back to the grassland, she could return to Yashang. Ashley Falcon didn't believe Yi Cheng's words at all, but Yi Cheng used Li Cheng to stimulate Ashley Falcon, and Ashley Falcon just left Yi Cheng's room. After going out, Ashley Falcon met Sheer. He knew Sheer could not do these things, but all of this had nothing to do with Yikeng. He only hoped that Sheer would not live like a fool again, and Yikeng was in Mo. The cold arrow that North released almost killed him. With the help of an old acquaintance, Mugen learned that the Great Khan had been poisoned, and that there were no children in Dengxiang Palace, and the only place where there were children was the Sui Palace. After Ashley Falcon tried Yi Cheng, he came to tell Chang Ji about Yi Cheng's power. Chang Ji was not afraid of Yi Cheng. Soldiers came to block, water came to cover, but she could not find Mimi, worried that Mimi will suffer. Mimi came to see Yi Cheng, and Yi Cheng broke Buzen's finger to threaten Mimi. She gave Mimi a bottle of poison and asked Mimi to do things for her. Mimi cried and buried Buzen's fingers. Sheer was overjoyed when he saw Mimi, and he told her his heart. He liked Mimi, but Mimi didn't like Sheer at all. She remembered as a slave as a child, the fear of playing with Sheer tremblingly every day was something Sheer could not understand, and she could not follow Sheer back to the royal court. Shui wanted to save Lian, but he didn't want to watch Lian and his relatives, so he wanted to ask Wei Xing for help. Wei Xing said in a word that only the identity of Fu Ma can allow Lian to avoid marriage. He asked Shui to think about his own mind. If he likes Lian, he must fight for it himself. Shui hesitated because of this. Hesitating heart. Shui didn't have any affection for Lian. He didn't go to Tai Chi Palace. Instead, he came to Longsong. He didn't like Lian, and he was unwilling to give Lian hope to push Lian into another pit. Cheng understands Shu. She also believes that things will turn around. Li Shimin can't just watch Lian and his relatives, but they have to wait for a suitable time. In the Tai Chi Palace, all the officials were talking about Princess Yong'an's marriage. Most people believed that Yong'an's marriage was a righteous act, and Chen Shiling even advocated Lian's marriage. Lian came to Tai Chi Palace as Princess Yong'an. She talked about her family, the world, and her people. She believed that Daitang didn't have to repeatedly compromise the Ashel department. The prosperity of the Tang dynasty was to protect the people of the Tang dynasty. Chen Shiling disagreed with Lian's words. Lian used her own effort to get rid of the crowd. Jiaodu and Durui also came to the Taiji Palace. Durui agreed with Lian's words. The Tang dynasty is a prosperous country, so why are you afraid of Ashile's words? Then, if Ashile's department asks for the princess of the Tang dynasty in a word, the Ashile department will not put Daitang in their eyes. With Darui's support, Li Shimin was able to reject this marriage more righteously. Datang would never sacrifice any of his mother's daughters in exchange for a moment of stability. 3 days later, he asked Lian to accompany him to the Sifang pavilion. At that time, Lian personally told the Ashile tribe that the Old Testament had been abolished and Tang refused to marry. 3 days later, Yi Cheng again mentioned the marriage contract at the banquet. Lian rejected the Asil tribe's marriage on the spot. Yi Cheng and Shir stirred up the emotions of the tribes, saying that Tang dynasty's rejection of marriage will surely destroy it in the future. Made an alliance with other tribes. Everyone talked about it all the time. In order to stabilize the situation in the Tang dynasty, Chang Ji simply mentioned the alliance of the various tribes on the spot, saying that only the brave are worthy of Lian, and Li Shimin should come to a contest to recruit relatives and choose the best attached horse. Shir is young and vigorous, and he can admit defeat. After getting tomorrow's Tang will set up a challenge here, he will answer the matter without saying a word, wanting to win the battle by